One of the choices you're going to have is to make this faux card box. This one is made by a student, and she worked it out all digitally and then printed it and put it together. This is her belly band. The book is called How Do Our Cats Think by Taran. This is an irregular edge belly band, and it has a tab where she has glued it. So that keeps the book together. Then you open the box. That's the structure. And then she filled it with cards about cats, and they're double-sided. So she worked all this out digitally. She put them together with double tack. This is just a tiny piece of double tack. It's kind of a plastic, and you peel it, and it's sticky. And that's how she got this very smooth. And then she trimmed it. Okay, here's another example of a card done by a different student. I don't have her box, but she donated this card. This is a pop-up horse she made. So when the cards are in the box, they're flat, but when they're out, she had all different types of horses, and I do have a visual on this that you can look at. She worked this out digitally too, and then used Canson paper and then made a little pop-up. Okay, so I'm going to stop for a minute. These are just some cards. I'll show you one more thing. When you have a card, I have a big corner cutter. So these were all cut on the corner cutter, but let me show you. You don't have to do a square. You can do a square card. You don't have to round your corners. I happen to have this corner cutter. I put it in here, and you see how nicely that edge is created. Now you're not going to have this since we're online, but you can order. This is a very expensive one. You can order a tiny corner cutter from Amazon for around $11, and I will give you the information for that. Or you could just make a mock-up of what a corner would like using a dime or something, and you trim it that way. So for this, you're going to get handouts. Everything's going to be mapped out to size for you. I used Scott index paper or a stiff Bristol paper, and basically this is the front cover, and then you make a little box, and then you'll be gluing it, okay, and then your cards fit inside, okay, but I'm going to show you how to cover one with paper. You could also make one out of colored paper. I have it all measured out for the cover and to cut out my template. And I could fold all this up and not bother with covering it with paper, but you want to use a stiff Canson paper. Canson paper comes in 3 different weights, and the middle weight or the heaviest weight would be good for this. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use double tack for covering. Here's an example. I've covered this with double tack already. You know, and the box is made. I'm not really finishing it up yet, but you can see how that is. And this one I haven't really finished. It's just taped together. This is a mock-up. This is not my good one. You always make a mock-up to figure things out. And that's placed. And you can see how that all goes together. You don't have to use marbleized paper for this. On the handout, I talk about marble paper, but you don't have to use marbled paper. But let me, sometimes you see this book for my mock-up I just use double sticky-sided Scotch tape. It's sticky on both sides. So this is all just taped on for my mock-up, so it goes quickly, and it informs me about what's happening. This was a straight line and I made this template that comes in your directions, but I haven't cut out this side. So I can see where that is. I would measure it. And then I would draw with my pencil, and then I would carefully cut out. I'm not going to do it. Carefully cut out. You can imagine I carefully cut it out. And the reason I have that is so, like Taran has it in her book. See? It's so I can get my fingers in there to get the card out. Now, you're only supposed to do like 10 to 12 cards. And Taran did that, but she left all these empty just to fill up the packet so it looks finished. But we would be here forever if we did all of them. But if you're really in love with your project, maybe you'll sometime finish it up. Okay. So, double tack. This is a piece of double tack. You can buy it in half sheets and whole sheets. You could just use regular PVA to glue all this, but double tack is less messy, and I really like it. So this is my paper for my outside cover, but I want to adhere it to my double tack. So I'm going to peel off one side of it. Sometimes it takes me some time. Okay, so you can see it's all sticky there. So I'm not going to unpeel the whole thing. I'm getting it ready. And then I'm going to line up the corner to corner and get that on there. And then slowly peel. You see, I'm slowly peeling this back. And then that's trash. I like to take my bone folder and smooth it. And I might even see, I can see some double tack that went beyond that. And I might like to just cut the excess off, just to be neat about it. So, that's the back of my book. So I face it down away from me. This is the double tack. Now I want to put this in the center. So I am going to peel off the other side of the double tack. But this time, I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to take it all the way off. And I like using my grid to straighten my paper. And it's sticky. I got to get my hands off of it. And then I'm going to try to put this down in the center, leaving roughly 1 inch around it, okay? So I've done that. Just gonna kind of press it down. Now this one I've already cut. I've already used my template to cut both sides. I don't have to do that. See, this is my template right here. Right there. So you have all the information. This is your card size. This is your box where the cards, this is the box where the cards will sit. Okay, now this is book board. I cut 2 small pieces, and when you cut, you want to cut the corners. You don't want to cut too close to the corners. You want to cut 2 book boards away from the corner. So I let the corner paper touch or near the book boards. I stack 2 of them together, and I take my knife and I just cut them on the diagonal. Okay? And you can see I'm not right on the edge. I'm 2 book boards away. So I do that on all 4 sides. The hardest thing is to do the corners. You really want to pay attention to this part so you have nice corners when you fold the book. Now I could make a pencil mark. I'll do that for this last one. I'm going to take my pencil and make a mark and take that off, and I see my mark, and then I take my ruler, put it along there, and cut it. Okay, so now I have all my corners done so far. I have to do some prepping before I fold my corners. I have to take care of the center part. So we're going to follow. I'm going to put my ruler right along the edge of my Scott index and cut straight out. And then I'm going to cut following the template straight out this way. I'm going to repeat that on the other side. And I have to be exact because this won't get folded. You can see how that looks very neat. My white index paper is not showing, but yet I still have sticky, so I can fold some things. I'm going to repeat it down here. And I want to, first I'll repeat it down here. And then I am going to get on this corner and this corner and put my ruler across there and slice there and there to my white paper, okay? And I'm going to do that down at this corner and this corner of that design. And cut here and here. Then, very carefully, I'm going to go in there and trim along the edge of that thumb design. And pop that out. And do the same here. It's good to make sure your blade is not dull because you want your cutting to be crisp. Okay, now I'm going to fold. You can see none of the white is showing. Everything looks good. I can quickly just fold that up, these two. Take my bone folder. Now this is the inside of the card holder. I'm not going to really see in there. Okay, I want you to get close to see this. So I'm going to take, I could take the top and come down like this. But instead of getting really tight, I want you to pay attention to this corner. I'm going to take the point of my bone folder and I'm going to tuck in this corner. This is very important to get not a pointy corner. See how I tuck that in? And then I'm going to flip this up. You see how that corner is nice and blunt? It's not pointy. It's not like wrapping a present like people think. You have to do that little tuck in. I'm going to do it again. Put that up tight. But I don't press down here. I don't want to glue this together yet. I want to come in from the side of the paper and press in. You see that? Then I press down to glue that tuck. Then I fold this over. I'm going to do it again. Come in from the side. See that? Press down and come, hold that up. It is important for me to smooth everything out to get the bubbles out or any bumps. Almost done. Woo! Fold that over. Come in from the side. See how neat that looks? But you know, I want to really make sure everything's adhered nicely. So I'll smooth over with my bone folder. If I was worried about scratching, I would take a piece of paper, a newsprint or something, and then go over it. Because sometimes, let's say this was book cloth. Let's say it was a black book cloth instead of paper. My bone folder would scratch the paper if I didn't use a protective sheet over it. It's just sometimes a good caution to do. Okay, all these have been scored with, you know, all the pencil lines have been scored already. But let's go over it one more time. I'm doing the spine, just holding it. This is why we use the Scott Index or Bristol. It's not too thick, so you can you put the tabs inside. Get my tab in. Oh boy. And you can see how that box is, but I can still see the inside, and I might not like that. So what I've done, I have cut 2 pieces, and you can put them right up to the edge, and you could double tack them. Right now, I'm just, because of time, I'm going to take 2 little pieces. This is my mock-up, remember, it's not my final thing. I'm going to take 2 pieces of clear tape and put them on the back. And I'm going to put that right up to the edge. Now, if this was my real book, I would double tack that or glue stick it. And then I would take my knife and cut that out. And you can see I'm only doing the one side because you get the message right now. That's not behaving, but you can see how if that was stuck down better, that would be brown in there. Okay, I've cut my cover to the box, and the directions you'll see, they're only showing that the paper goes so far along because you're going to put some paper that's a spine on there too. Let's start with the spine. I'm only going to use tape, not double tack, because this is my mock-up. And let me just, I'm going to put some tape along my spine. I have this lined up with my grid. I could measure and find the center. I'm going to put like that. I'm going to put my tape here and here. And fold that over. You would never use this tape for a final project. It's only for mock-ups. Then I've already pre-cut my paper, and I have already put my 2 book boards length and cut the angles off. So I'm going to put my tape here. Here and here. And I'm going to tuck in my corner like I've taught you on both sides. See how nice that looks? I'm going to quickly do the other side. So if I mess up my corners, it's, you know, you just, with practice, you're going to get better, but it's great to practice on these mock-ups. I would never do a book without doing a mock-up first, because that way you save troubleshooting problems, and you're not wasting expensive paper. Now this paper is a little nice because I had, you know, over the years teaching so much, I have a lot of scraps. Sometimes it's fun to see what you have at home instead of buying something. You might have paper at home that works. That's what this is. Okay, then I have these two covers. I'm going to put tape on that. But if I wanted to, I could put tape here, cover the spine up, then put my end papers in, try to make them straight and even. This is just my mock-up. I want to bend, crisp up. This is the cover. I've already scored it and had bent it before I put the paper on, so it has a good memory. For fun, if I wanted, I could decorate the spine with an image. Isn't that good? A title, something different. And then I'm going to take this off because it's bulking. But let's say I did that, and I guess I could try to tape this just to show you. I put one big long piece of tape down in here. Oh, you see it's untaping. I need more tape, but you know, it'd be fun if you did this with the double tack. I think it would be way more satisfactory for you. Because sometimes even a mock-up looks great. But I would never do a mock-up, a real book just with tape. So look, this is kind of nice, the contrast of paper, not having to do it all matchy-matchy. And you can see how cards fit in there. And I can reach the card because of this little indentation. Okay? Now, I could do it just with this. I'll quickly cut this. This is no adhesive, no paper connected to it, just using a strong color. Maybe you get some watercolor paper or some paper that likes ink, and you know, you have to keep all this stuff flat when you do your imagery. And then after you're satisfied with what imagery you're doing, that's when you fold everything up. But you could just do a strong saturated color or neutral colors. Just following my template. To score this. Now you're good the final one, when you make this, you're not going to have all this writing on it. What's good about this one is you have the template. I've made it life size on the handout, but it's always good to measure it out yourself. Okay, now I haven't done my thumb tabs. I won't cut it, but I'll just show it to you again. Just finding, you'll find the center, draw it, and carefully cut it.